how do you approach this week now? Last week you were coming off of a tough loss. This week you've got a pretty good win to build on, and talk about how you approach this next week.
Every week what we do, and I think it's indicative of how the improvement from week 1 to week 2 is to focus on ourselves, to focus on what we can do and control and improve. And so once again, the standard is for this week is as coaching staff and for our players is to maintain a standard of excellence. So we're going to look at the film, and there's always room to improve, there's always room to grow, and we're going to set a standard high this week in our practice, and outline some goals for our players, positionally, corporately, to say we need to achieve to make a next improvement from week 2 to week 3.
Then go ahead and evaluate. I guess both of your quarterbacks.
Yeah.
McPherson was able to come in, throw a touchdown pass,
right.
And Vandy obviously was a little bit better
right.
in the passing game.
Well, first of all, to see from week 1 to week 2 our passing efficiency dramatically improve, I think it's a real point to stand out for Van Der Rent to say, he focused on what the hard coaching we gave him throughout the week. Our receiving core focused on that, so I thought that the dramatic improvement of our percentage of completions was a really impressive, and I'm happy with that. To come in and to see McPherson play as hard as he did play and as efficient as he ran the system gave a lot of hope to where his progress and what his future is with us, but then also see him run the ball as hard as he is. And I thought that was good for the whole team to see that they've got a very capable backup in Justin McPherson, and a guy who we feel extremely good about.
And then running backs. I mean, there were, I think, a bunch, 7 guys I think with at least 6 carries. That balance there, is that something that you expect from 1 to 5, 1 to 6 on your depth chart there?
I think the running back position is one of our most deepest positions in our offense, and to have guys that are capable of breaking it and going to give us fresh legs throughout a whole ball game, it's part of the plan that we want to continue to develop, and so that in the fourth quarter we still have a running back out there who gives you a bit more power, a bit more speed, and continue to change it up. And so to have 2 young guys like Ronald Douglas and Terrell Watson do what they did is exciting, and because I see him catch onto the system this quickly. And then obviously Oliver Petty coming out, and he's had an outstanding camp, and I was really happy with what he did. So you adding that to to Trifoletti and to Murphy, we've got 5 core running backs that can make things happen. So that takes pressure off of Van Der Rent having to run, although he's a very capable runner, which is and sometimes we call plays, we don't know who's going to get it, and he does a good job running the system, but it makes the running game as successful as it has been. I think we're over 350 yards of rushing, and I think those running backs add to it.
Speaking of the running game, talk about your offensive line and how they've played, and going forward, what you expect to see from them.
Yeah. I'm extremely happy with their progress. Coach Slater's done an outstanding job of getting those guys to really work as one, and to have a guy like Palacios to come back and now begin to play. He's stepping it up, as well as Mark Hort on our tackle position. But Tim Taylor's a young guy also, as well, or an older guy, excuse me, that his service is extremely valuable. To see how he can help make corrections with the O-line and with Graham Patterson in there, and Joe Bolognesi did a good job of being an enforcer and a real dominant force. So that O-line we feel like is a real tip of the spear when it comes to our strategic effectiveness throughout this whole season, and to see them continue to improve is outstanding. So I expect great improvement from them. I expect them to become more physical as the season progresses, and I continue to expect even the guys who are backing them up stay in step with those older guys.
And then going over to the other side, I think overlooked in a game like that is the play of the defense, and just how little they allowed. The first touchdown was a kickoff return, and then there's no scoring until the fourth quarter. Where is that performance coming from? Where does that start?
Well, it starts off with the challenge of this last week. Giving up the 42 points the week prior. knowing that there were some little things here and there of what happens and why the younger guys that did play last week acted like younger guys and experienced guys. So, but the challenge though went to them this whole week is that they need to play with an attitude, they need to play with a passion, and that makes us traditionally as strong defensively as we have been. And I thought that they really owned that this week. I thought that they took a step forward and cleaned up the technical details that they needed to. And to be able to see the leadership of guys like Jake Jones and Shea Struiksma challenge the younger guys the whole week, I thought that marked a big improvement. But the light bulb went on, this whole last week, to see them in the film room, to see them ask the kind of questions that they did ask. It's for a coach, you want to keep hearing those things. You want to keep hearing those conversations happening amongst your whole team, and for the defense to have as many of those conversations as they did. I think it's no wonder why that you see the big jump of improvement that they had.
Mm-hmm. And then first two games you guys have had a few takeaways on defense. Is that a big focus for you? How big of a game changer are those?
Well, we want to win the turnover battle. If you look statistically of championship caliber teams, they're winning that turnover battle. So every week defensively, we're constantly keeping score of how many turnovers we're getting throughout practice. And Coach Wilmer does an outstanding job of keeping that priority out there in front of the guys. And so it's not something we pay lip service to. It's an everyday keeping score thing of who had a turnover, how many turnovers do we get. I'm excited about Paul Royster now having 2 weeks in a row with an interception. He's a young man who I feel like has bought into that turnover philosophy, and now to see his corner play from last year to this year make a big jump, I'm excited for what he can become. I think this is going to be a big year for him if he continues his focus. But all in all, we want to make sure we're taking care of the football as well as doing everything we can to get that ball out, to getting everything we can to put the ball on the ground by the opposing offense, and let's just change the game that way.
Mm-hmm.
This week you play Whittier, another local team. Talk about what it's like playing schools from the area and just kind of the atmosphere of local hometown football.
Well, it's nice on the travel budget for sure. It's nice on the jet lag for sure, from what the changes we've had in the previous seasons. But Whittier is a team with a brand, and once again, sight unseen. We don't know what we got coming in this Saturday. Kirk Jellerson takes over as the head coach. He was a defensive coordinator the year before. He's had a good career at Western Washington, coaching some good defenses up there. I'm sure he'll put together a solid team this Saturday, and then with Todd Stratton coming in from Ventura College, the gentleman has an outstanding history of his offensive play. So we expect it could be a lot of 4 or 5 wides. He's a passing guy, a lot of one-back offense. They did come out a lot of option last year, so we'll continue to prepare for both, and also to focus on the things that we know we have to get better at. But to play Whittier is an exciting opportunity for us. They did a good job recruiting. They've got a lot of Division I transfers coming in that haven't been there in the past. So we expect a team that is focused, and we expect an outstanding game on Saturday. So our guys have got enough on their plate with the corrections that we need to make, and with a great team like challenge like Whittier coming up to keep us dialed in this whole week and say we were hungry to continue to improve.
What do you need to see out of your team this week? Obviously the preseason ranking was 15. That would indicate that you are a playoff caliber team, and I think we've talked about you feeling like you're a playoff caliber team. I know it's early, but what do you want to see out of your team this week?
Well, people throw around the playoff caliber, and that's fine. I like those conversations to be about our program, but I tell my players if that's the type of goal you want to have, then you need to have that type of focus now. You don't have a December focus just in December. The December teams are the teams that had that focus from Jump Street. And so for our guys, I need to see the focus continue to sharpen and to continue to breed a passion in us that creates the competitive environment in our own practices that can mimic a game speed, if not surpass a game speed. We have good depth within our program this year that I'm excited about. And obviously the running back situation is indicative of that. However, getting young men to practice at that pace, that's the challenge, and I think they did a good job last week of embracing that game speed type of practice style. And so if we're going to become what we think we can become, what we want to become, it's all going to go down to how hard can we press each other, how fast can we run in practice, how much can we challenge each other in a practice scenario, so that come game day, we're ready to go. We've had outstanding competition. So I'm expecting this week there to be a hunger and passion to continue to get better within our own ranks.
And then something I wasn't able to talk to you Saturday, but before the game, both teams were out there for just what the weekend represented, for a little bit of remembrance of everything that went on. What did that mean to you, and what do you think that meant to your players to be out there for that part of it?
Well, for me personally, just a tremendous amount of pride in how our country has responded. 10 years goes so fast, but with also a real humbleness that we get to take part in a game like this, and there's a lot of families that are still hurting from it, and our hearts went out for them. I think in some way we all have some sort of connection back there. I know I had a friend of mine who lost his brother in the Twin Towers, and so it's touched us all. So to be able to take a moment out on a Saturday like that and have Major Gaylor begin to pray and have the whole stand to the moment of silence, while it is a small thing, it was, I think, for a team, myself, just a moment of pride to say, we're blessed to be in this country, and we're blessed to be around a group of people who responded in the way we have over the last 10 years to get our country back on track, but not forgetting where we've came from. And so it's a blessing to have the freedoms we do, and so to be able to play the game but take the moment out, I'm real proud of to be a part of the country and to be a part of that moment, what we did there that Saturday.